Hi everybody, it's your friend Daniel Hutchins. We are back again for another original conversation. Yes, over here at Hutchins Hut Productions. So we are outside here on the front yard, or front deck, or whatever, and we're going to talk about some original stuff. Okay? We're not reading it off the screen, we're doing it on the fly, with no script and no computer. So what are we going to talk about? Well, there's the thing, guys. Okay, so in case you guys don't already know, Marvel Studios and their president is already setting up this huge idea to be like, oh, we want to make our X-Men different than the prior X-Men. Well, at the same time, we want to have the prior X-Men be in Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars. Okay, so many people ask me, will these people in the original X-Men be able to come back and cross over in the future? Well, you see, it's not that easy. Because, first, Patrick Stewart is in his 80s, so it would be very complicated to put him as Xavier. And Ian McKellen, he's kind of old too, so it's not easy for him to keep coming back either. So, where's the line drawn at? Well, basically, here's the catch, guys. Okay, the catch 22 of this whole entire spiel is the fact that now, okay, we have our legacy characters already coming back for Avengers Doomsday and Secret Wars, which will take place in 2027. However, the stipulation is now Marvel Studios is like, okay, we're going to have the perfect send off for all these legacy X-Men characters, while at the same time we have a completely brand new Fantastic Four, which is going to have a big part of the Avengers movie. And not only that, we have the Thunderbolts now, who a lot of people have dubbed as Avengers, the Avengers B, or the B-Vengers, or the New Avengers, as the teaser credit said. But at the very end of the day, we are going to have new faces on our popular characters. Now, this is where the big stipulation comes in, because a lot of people who have been around the comic book universe far longer than myself, like the much older men like me, the older white men who have been in the universe for going on 20, 30 plus more years than myself is, we like to kind of be like, oh, we want to. There are some people, like older people of my race and other races also, that are kind of extremely racist. Now, again, I am liable to say, and to be honest, there are a lot of people on the internet that are racist. Yes, lots of people on the internet are racist. And I have been called out many times, many times, because they thought I was being racist. Okay, so, again, controversy, you know me, it's controversy. Woo, woo, it's controversy. Woo, woo, it's controversy. Join the controversy train, everybody. This has become the video of controversy. Wasn't expecting that to happen, but here we are. Okay, people online are racist. People who are older than me are comic book racist. Okay, comic book racist. What is the definition of a comic book racist? The definition of a comic book racist is somebody who doesn't accept change and somebody who wants to hold on to the past. That is a definition of comic book racist. Am I a comic book racist? No, I'm not a comic book racist. In fact, if anything, I'm the opposite. I actually accept change. I accept diversity. And I'm just willing to admit to you all 350 of you, I am not racist. In fact, I'm not racist. I repeat, I'm not racist. So, again, given with a grain of salt and the grain of pepper that you put on top of your rice every time on dinner, Let me just remind you all that I am not a comic book racist. If you guys think I'm a comic book racist on Facebook or any social media, then you will get blocked, and you will be blocked forever until the end of forevermore. Let me remind you, if you call me a comic book racist or call me anything which I am not, you will be blocked forever into forevermore, never to be heard or spoke to again. Reminder to y'all. So again, don't always assume I am a comic book racist, because that is where we're trying to get to. The subject of comic book racism is basically people who are twice my age calling me out saying, hey, you're a comic book racist. No, I'm not a comic book racist. If anything, I'm willing to accept change. I mean, look at what happened with Batman. Look at what happened with Spider-Man. Prime example there. Again, I'm not a comic book racist. If you guys think I'm a comic book racist, then you're clearly in the wrong, because I'm not a comic book racist. Again, back to what we were originally talking about. Okay, so Kevin Feige over on Marvel is saying, well, we can't have Patrick Stewart play forever. We can't have Ian McKellen play forever. So what are we going to do? So now they're trying to look for front runners, and they're trying to look for auditions to play the big roles of Charles Xavier and Magneto, who we know is Eric Lenshaw. Magneto. Okay, but here's the problem. A lot of people like to go on and go on and go on a spiel and a wild tangent and say, hey, we don't like this, we don't like this, we don't like this, angry face, angry face, angry face. Well, let me remind you, those people are the comic book racist. Yes, those folks are the comic book racist. And if anything shows, again, our country is founded on racism, and it is going back to racism, because our president right now in the White House is a racist. Again, without going too political, we are living on a foundation of racism. So, again, not trying to toot my horn, but I'm trying to tell you, there are people on the internet, especially on social media, that are comic book racist, which mean that they just don't want to accept change, and they would rather hold on to the past for as long as they humanly can, which they won't, because they will lose, because they're comic book racist. Okay, so this topic again, comic book racism, not accepting change, not moving forward. Again, why am I talking about this? Well, because it's important for you guys to wake up, smell the coffee, and listen to me talk until your ears fall off your head. That's why I'm talking to you and 350 others on my stream saying I'm not a comic book racist. I'm not a comic book racist. If anything, prime examples of change that are good come from Spider-Man and also Batman, which again, good superheroes again. So at the end of the day, if you ever run into a comic book racist, step 10 feet away from them and walk away. That's my advice. Again, you could take it or leave it. I don't care. You can leave your comments outside my door, but I don't care. Again, comic book racism is real. Yes, we are experiencing it right now. Comic book racism is real, and you encounter it almost every day. All 350 of us and others around the world are experiencing this. It's not just the United States that is struggling with this comic book racist. It's everybody around the world that is experiencing comic book racist. So, again, if you see a comic book racist, step far away from them, block them, and ignore them. Again, coming from me, this is Daniel Hutchins. I'm signing off this one. I'll see you in the next one. And as always, ya buddy, ya buddy, ya buddy, ya buddy, ya buddy, ya buddy, Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy. See you later. Bye now.